The so-called Superman of Hong Kong's financial world is finally hanging up his cape. After almost 70 years of building a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate from scratch. While Li Ka Shing didn't go around saving people, he's been called a hero for turning simple businesses into massive corporations, and for his rags to riches rise from humble beginnings. In the 1940s, his family came to Hong Kong as immigrants from China. With little money, Li was sent to work in a factory at 13 years old. By the time he was 22, he had founded a plastics company. It would grow to become one of Hong Kong's most powerful business empires. The Cheung Kong group of companies, made up of CK Hutchison and CK Asset, is today worth more than $80 billion. From telecommunications and shipping to property, retail, finance, and utilities, the company touches every aspect of life in Hong Kong. And it's not just a juggernaut at home. Li's biggest achievements have involved financial deals with international firms, which catapulted his company into a global powerhouse. Today, the conglomerate has operations in more than 50 countries and employs 323,000 people worldwide. Li's decorated international career began when he bought a stake in a struggling British trading house and turned its fortunes around. This led to investments in a collection of UK businesses, which also led to him being knighted by the Queen. Li's eye for business deals shaped CK Hutchison's portfolio to include the world's biggest container port operator, Canadian oil giant Husky, and one of Europe's leading telecoms operators. Li is leaving big shoes for his successor to fill, and the man chosen to do that is his eldest son, Victor Li. But the elder Li is making sure his wisdom doesn't stay untapped.
In the future, I will act as the senior consultant of the group, and at the same time put all my efforts into the foundation's work, especially focusing on healthcare and education.
It's the end of the road for Li Ka Shing's career. Now, it's up to the younger Li to keep his father's legacy alive. Laila Humaira, TRT World.
For more on all this, Chris Roebuck joins me now from London. He's a visiting professor of transformational leadership at the Cass Business School. Chris, great to have you on the show, as ever. Li Ka Shing is a very different entrepreneur to the brand of entrepreneur that we have today, isn't he? I mean, compared to the Dara Khosrow-Shahis of the world, or even the Asia's richest person, Pony Ma, for example. What are the main differences between how Li did it and how the new generation of entrepreneurs do it?
I think the difference is fundamentally that he has taken a steady, structured approach over a period of, let's be honest, nearly 70 years of being an entrepreneurial leader, whereas the others have a sort of more dynamic dive in, do this, and sort of a more sort of openly proactive way. So it's the very outwardly dynamic rather than the slow, structured, steady, careful decisions over a long period of time. But to be honest, both of them are equally valid. You know, I spend a lot of time trying to help organizations and leaders be more entrepreneurial. And he is an example, an inspirational example of what you can do if you get the decisions consistently right.
Yeah, there's another big difference, though. I mean, now that I hear you say that, I think you're absolutely right, is that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the tech sector, go into it with a view to an exit at some point, rather than building the business from the ground up, the way Li did. Arguably, he didn't have a choice at that time, but all that notwithstanding. I mean, look, a lot of people say he's a very amiable man, but he knows how to drive a hard bargain, doesn't he? I mean, what were some of the toughest deals that he did?
Well, I think you can, to be honest, if you were to say the best deal, I mean, how tough it was, I'm not sure. The best deal has to be 1979 and getting his hands on Hutchinson from HSBC at half of its book value. I mean, in anybody's language, that, to be blunt, you know, Donald Trump talks about the art of the deal. in comparison to Li Ka Shing, Donald Trump's art of the deal is actually not that significant. I mean, I think that deal was the blinder.
Oh, fantastic. Chris Roebuck, thank you very much indeed.